Another guest in the Informer studio, his name is Rob Lucas. He's the CEO, the Chief Executive Officer of the caravan industry in the state of Victoria. He knows tourism like very few people do. He's in the studio. I want to talk to you about how we get people back across the country, visiting some beautiful places that we have, not only in Victoria, but across Australia. So the COVID-19 has given us this fearful hit. The industry's been seriously challenged, but the one thing I've learned about caravanners, they don't sit down for long. They don't take a backward step. So what have you been doing to get the industry up and running and people back out on the road?
Yeah, thanks, George. A lot. We've had a double whammy. Of course, we come off the bushfires in Victoria.
We keep forgetting the double whammy, yes.
Yeah, which really impacted upon our industry, and then straight into that is the COVID. So we've been working very hard on lobbying the government to open up the state, in particular caravan parks and the like.
They've helped you to a degree, but you can't use any of the facilities.
Yeah,
the government says you can go and use the park, but you can't use the bathrooms, you can't use the amenities. Why are we going to the car park, to the caravan park?
Well, look, I think it's a moving feast. I think that anybody that's in this space that's currently working within the industry understands that from week to week the things change very dramatically.
Okay.
In the respect of the caravan parks,
Do you have confidence
yeah,
that we're going in the right direction?
Yeah, I do. I think at the height of the close down and shutdowns and restrictions, it was hard to see where the light was going to come from, but we've been working our way through it, and particularly the types of people that we represent, the caravan manufacturers, the retailers, the caravan dealers, service repairers and some accommodation. There's a real sense of resilience and there's a real sense of coming back in a big way.
The industry has changed tremendously from the very first days I remember, and I'm older than you. I can remember caravans when they were really very difficult to get past. They were slow, they were not nearly as stable, and they certainly didn't have the amenities on them that the new caravans offer. It's extraordinary watching this explosion. What's been the biggest thing for you? Has it been the technology, giving the person who wants to become not a nomad, but a traveller, to enjoy what each and every state in this country has to offer? I mean, I'm sitting here thinking, if they open the borders, if they give us a chance to get out to some of these affected areas that were seriously impacted by the fires, there are beautiful places, the Grampians, Warrnambool, the Bass Coast, Bright, Daylesford. I could see me out there every weekend. I haven't told my wife yet, but I could see us out there every weekend. So how do we get people to travel? A lot of people are terrified at the moment.
Yeah.
We can't do this, we can't do that. So how do we give them the confidence to go forward?
Okay, well, I think there's a couple of issues. Number one is that the question about technology, there's no doubt in our mind in the last decade there's been an explosion of technology in the caravan industry, and particularly in the products that are now actually making caravans self-sufficient. So they can be able to be taken places and you can actually live in it. You've got solar power, you've got showers, toilets, you've got everything. And in fact, when you look at and the impact of that has meant that where a consumer might have said, "Oh, look, I'll tolerate having something that's less than a display home quality caravan," you've now got display home quality. So what we've got is the caravans and the technology, both in moving them and living them, has never been greater in the world. And in fact, Australia is one of the leading countries in the world for manufacturing caravans. And most people don't realise that. So we've got self-containment. And certainly the argument that we've been putting forward to government, and we're about to do it again, is that over 60% of caravans are self-contained these days.
60%?
60%.
That's a huge
So there's
reach.
this capacity to actually go into caravan parks and not use the amenities. And certainly assistance that we've given to others that have been fighting to get caravan parks open is that over 60% are self-contained already.
Right, so
there's actually no better place if you really want to isolate than to go to a caravan park.
Got you.
So
Got you.
that message still hasn't got through
The point
yet.
that you make is one that sparks a new sense of excitement for me, because I didn't realise it was that high. I thought it might be something like 20 or 30%, but that's a substantial number of the those who are using caravans to get out and about. That's a really big number. I live in Port Melbourne, yeah? So we're just across the road from the Spirit of Tasmania. I see every caravan in the world front and get ready to get on board. Some of them are extraordinary. Some of them, forget about Winnebagos, they're minute vehicles. There are some caravans out there, and I know there might be only one or two examples like this, but I've got to tell you about this one. It had a car on board, a sports car on board. It had a Jeep hooked up on the back, and every other conceivable item that you could put in a moving vehicle was there. I don't know how much it costs, probably squillions.
Yes.
But what an impressive caravan, if you want to call it that. What would you call it?
Well,
it's extraordinary.
it's hard to know what to call them because it changes
Stainless
so quickly.
steel. It looked $1 million.
Yeah, look, absolutely immaculate. And in the last decade, I've had the opportunity to travel overseas every 2 years to go to a place called Dusseldorf, the world's largest caravan show.
Okay.
And I'm always fascinated to go and see what the latest trends are. And in the last
GPS.
Unbelievable.
Can they reverse without anyone holding on?
It's just simply amazing. But when I come back, I think to myself, we're not far off that. So we often in Australia have this inferiority complex, and we're only Australia, but we are leading the way. In fact, we are very, very close to breaking open major export markets around the world with our product. And we know already of one of our members is exporting to Dubai.
That's fantastic.
We understand that only 3 weeks ago, one of our members put a caravan on a ship that's going to Mongolia.
Listen, if you're putting product like that and making it available to Dubai, and that audience is lapping it up, you must be making a sensational product.
Yes.
Yeah? Now tell me, are we getting enough messages across to the Victorians that there are enough places in Victoria to visit?
Oh, look, I would say no. I think the...
What's wrong? Where have we missed the messaging? State government campaigns, Tourism Australia not understanding what riches lie in front of us?
I think so, George, but I think also that there are probably more than 50% of people that live in Melbourne don't know where the Grampians are. They don't know where half the tourism places are around this great state and haven't taken the opportunity to actually get out of Melbourne, even just 2 hours out of Melbourne. There's a view about caravanning is what you do is you wait till you retire, then you use your superannuation, you buy the caravan and you do the lap. You go around Australia.
Around Australia.
Right, the lap.
Yeah.
When I first started in the industry, that was what everyone called it, the lap, and I didn't know what they were talking about. That's changing, but it's still got a bit of that mentality. So what we've got to do is break that down. What we've got to be able to say is 2 hours out of Melbourne, 3 hours out of Melbourne, 4 hours out of Melbourne. If you want to have a more extended stay, then you can go, and then you can go interstate. But 2 hours out of Melbourne, look at all the locations. You're in Marysville, you're in down the Great Ocean Road, you're in the Peninsula, you're in places that are heaven on a stick.
Warrnambool, Grampians, Bass Coast, Wonthaggi, going down Apollo Bay.
Absolutely.
It's Dalesford, Bright. I mean, there's got to be a decent restaurant in each one of those venues, huh?
I've tried most of them.
Right.
So
listen, I want you to come back on The Informer because we've barely scratched the surface. Yeah. And I want to touch on some of the things that you guys are doing.
Yes.
And some of the proactive things that you'd love the government to assist you with.
Absolutely.
To take you to the next level. Rob Lucas, thank you for joining us on The Informer. I'd normally reach out and shake your hand, but social distancing is really, really key.
Thanks, George.